Happy Wednesday night. Steve here. We're back at it. A little bit under the weather, but I'm committed to making these golf videos every week, so we'll hop right into it. As always, we'll recap the week before. It's actually 2 weeks before, since we did have the Ryder Cup. We'll just briefly touch on that. Obviously, Europe came out and whooped the U.S. ass. Really not that big of a surprise, all things considered. So that ended up being a relatively profitable tournament, mostly thanks to the fact that we had Europe at close to 2-1 to win. And also we did have a slight winning tournament with the props. Did win with uh, Brian Harmon being for scoring over 1.5 points. He just came up short to Homa as the top point scorer, and Aberg, or now as we know, Aubert, came up short in the European rookie, but we did hit the video play with Rory being the European winner as well. So overall profitable tournament. The same wasn't the case last week at the Sanderson, unfortunately. Um, had a offer on the derivatives. Really didn't help the fact that the cut line moved unexpectedly. So Doug Gim and Dylan Wu, who both thought they were in at -4, didn't push it because the cut line at that time was expected to be -3. They ended up getting cut, which you know cut our field of players in half. So that can happen. Did have Ben Griffin as a live ad, and we don't need to go there. Another very disappointing finish for Griffin. Just completely, unfortunately, choked down the stretch. Was like a -700 favorite heading into the back nine on Sunday, like he was last year. Um, and yeah, Luke List drained that bomb in the playoff to win. So we're on to the Shriners, on to TPC Summerlin in Vegas. So the tour is heading back out west to the Las Vegas Strip. A little bit on TPC Summerlin, par 71, a little bit over 7,200 yards. But it is an elevation, so it plays a bit shorter than that. Uh, Lexi Thompson is a guest here, the LPGA player. Just a random tidbit. Uh, is a market for her. Won't be touching that market. To go into sort of what this course is all about, it's a TPC course, so it's very easy, very scoreable. Um, Accuracy is going to be important because the winning score is probably going to be in the low 20s. So you are going to have to be in play for your approach, to set you up to get in a scoreable range. So I am putting a tad bit of emphasis this week on good drives gained. Really, there's close to zero line of defense for this course for the players. Very little water. If anything, the hardest would be the three par threes, which are a bit difficult. 3 to 4 are just about or are 200 yards or over, and historically they've been over par. So that's really about the only part of this course that's penal. Um, there's some natural hazards around the tee, cacti, things like that. But for the most part, very easy course. It's going to be another birdie fest. So wedge and putting is going to be very key. So we can hop into the model really quick here to take a look at the um, the categories that I have found to be predictive for this course. So, as prefaced, good drives gained 10%, strokes gained approach as always. Greens and regulation gained. Birdies are better gained. Very important in a birdie fest. I think goes without saying. Bogey avoidance. Strokes gained par three because really the par threes and par fives are going to be where you can really separate yourself in this tournament. Proximity 125 to 150. It's going to be a lot of shots coming from there. And then, as always, stroke gain putting is important when it comes to a birdie fest. So what we can quick do is hop over and we'll take a look at the top of the odds board here. And I'll just go through the favorites and then we'll get into the betting card and then give my best bet and a bonus first round leader. And that'll be it because I'm a little under the weather and don't want to run too long tonight. Tom Kim and Aubert, two favorites here, deservingly so. Tom Kim is the defending favorite, or the defending champion rather, and he's been active. He's been playing in the DP World Tour, so he is certainly the deserving favorite as the defending champion. Up and coming superstar sensation Aubert. It's just a matter of time until he gets his first official PGA Tour win. Almost backdoored into it last week. I did think when it went to that 5-man playoff that probably Aubert was going to come out victorious, and he probably would have if it wasn't for that Luke List no-brainer. But his win's coming. I don't think it's this week, just because this course really doesn't play to his strengths, which is his distance off the tee. And his long iron play, he's not great, between 100 and 150, which is going to be where a lot of these approaches come from. He's certainly not awful, but that's not his strength. So he does score birdies in bunches. So he can certainly get there, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he does end up winning this tournament. But I have him circled for tournament in 2 weeks from now. He's going to be my target there. Siwoo Kim, Cam Davis, not quite sure why they're in that second tier. I have them up there. Cam Davis is certainly high in my model, but Siwoo not so much. And then, JT Poston, Adam Schenk, both of them are on my card. JJ Spawn and Eric Cole. It was a tough decision between, and Tom Hoge, between one of those three. Hoge does play very well here historically. He's finished inside the top 15 each of the last 3 years, including a first-round leader last year. But, Tom Hoge is a guy who typically starts fast and then fades over the weekend because his fancy for the casino is not exactly a secret. So him being in Vegas, not necessarily the best fit for a outright ticket this week, in my opinion. Although he's in good form and the course does fit his, it does fit his style. So wouldn't shock me, but I do prefer JJ Spawn there, just because Eric Cole, his off the tee doesn't thrill me here. So we'll shoot over to the model to go through my selections. So, number one in the model this week's Adam Schenk. He's my pick to win. If I had to just pick one, he would be it. He pretty much fits everything we're looking for. Number 2 in the field in the strokes gained approach. Number 2 in the field in greens regulation gained. Number 16 in birdies are better gained. I'd prefer if he was in the top 10 there. But 16's fine, especially since he's pretty good at avoiding bogeys and one of the best putters in the field. And he's also one of the best players at par 3 scoring as well. We were on Doug Gim last week, and he was one of the guys who I referenced who had a decent start to the tournament. Got to -4. I think if he was around on the weekend, he easily could have finished top 20. But he unfortunately missed the cut when the cut line moved pretty drastically. And, he models very well again. But, if you can see here what's blood red, his putting, you know, he missed much to the chagrin of me and everyone else who bet on him to win and place. Uh, 6 putts of 4 feet or less last week, just in 2 rounds. It was absolutely brutal. Doug Gim, I'm out on, even though he does model well everywhere else for this course. He's also a Las Vegas native. I just can't go there. Maybe, he can certainly finish in the top 20. But, in a birdie fest, a guy who can't putt, it's just too hard to trust him to not be horrific with the putter. So I'm out on Gim this week. JT Poston's my second outright. The Postman, this course is tailor made for him. He excels at short courses that are birdie fests, very scoreable. One of the best putters in the field. Ranks in the top 10 in birdies or better gained. I love Poston to come out hot. He's one of my bonus first round leader picks. And I like him to, be right there come Sunday. Down the list, you can see Eric Cole. I love Eric Cole. I'm waiting on him to get his first win, his first PGA Tour win. It's definitely coming. But as I talked about a few minutes ago, he's just one of the worst off the tee in this field. And even though it's not extremely penal, it's going to be difficult for him to set himself up because even though he is number one in the field in birdies or better gained, it's going to be difficult when he's in the rough, behind a cactus, what have you, to score, I think. If he can straighten the driver out, he can win this tournament. And, that would be a bit of a shame because, I've been betting him quite often and I've been waiting on him to get his maiden win. But I just don't think that this week, this course isn't a great fit. Moving down, Sam Ryder. We were on him last week, and he was actually the live leader for about 10 minutes on, what was it, Friday, when he went on a pretty hot run. I think he had an eagle and 4 birdies over the course of 5 holes. But, yeah, his approach game has been spot on. This is over the last 36 rounds. But if I narrow this down to the last 12, he'd actually be number 1 in this field in greens and regulation gained as well. Now, he's also not a great putter, but he does score birdies in bunches. And, if he can have even a break-even putting tournament, I think he can be right there as well. Now, the putting is variant, so I don't like him top 20, but, top 40 at just about even money. That's a bet that I made. Moving down, what we'll do then is we'll just shift this to the last 12. So, the most recent 3 tournaments. And, when you do that, it actually highlights one of my favorite up-and-coming players this season, and that's who's actually number 1 in the model when it's sorted by only the last 12 rounds, which is Davis Thompson. Rookie out of Georgia. Extremely high on him. He's just amazing off the tee. Great approach player. Top 3 in this field in greens and regulations gained. Good putter. Excellent proximity player, with the wedge. Last week he finished T15, and he could have finished a lot better. He's another guy who I'm waiting to get his maiden win. I'm very confident that it's coming sooner rather than later. And this week, it certainly could happen. If his flat stick cooperates. So those are my picks for this week. We're gonna go with Shank, Poston, Ryder, and Putnam. The bonus first round leader is going to be JP Poston. And then I'm also throwing some pizza money on Hoagie. Hoagie would love to come out here, shoot a -8 or -9 again, and then go, spend the night at the craps table. That would be a perfect day in Hoagie's life. And I don't like him to necessarily finish this tournament strong, but I think he can start off hot. Um, don't love the fact that he's going out late. Typically the first round leader comes from the morning wave, before the greens are stopped down too much. So yeah, I mean, nothing huge, just, throwing a few bucks on both of those for fun. But yeah, first round leader, we got Boston at 40-1 and Hoagie 50-1, and then I'm taking those outrights on the top 20s as well, with the exception of Ryder, who I'm taking on the top 40. So that's the plays for this week's guys. Nothing too crazy. In a birdie fest, there is a lot of variance. It's always possible that you can have an offer, or it could be an absolute kill show tournament like we had at the Fortinet. It all just depends on how things go. That's goal for you, but long term, we always come out ahead. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll be back next week for the Zozo. Take care.